Bhavesh is giving me fake actions from my spot, acting as if he's tech support. But either ways, so we're almost live. This is very awkward. We are live? Okay. We're live. Cool. So we're live. I am going to continue. Is okay, our screen is blinking. Bhavya, is that the camera? That's the camera. Just continue.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to continue? Okay. So we're sorry for the blinking that's going to keep happening. Bhavya's too lazy to fix it. That is not my problem. But anyways, moving on. So we will now introduce our expert guests who have taken out the time from their busy schedules to be here. Uh, Again, my laptop's hanging. This is a fun day. But moving on. So we have Daniela Gomez. She is the co-founder of the Vido app and is a passionate environmental activist. She's worked towards dissemination of knowledge on climate change for several years, and she also works on several on-ground projects. This is the first time I'm interacting with Daniela, and I'm very excited. We then have Ivan. Ivan is the co-founder of Resilience 2020, and he has experience in climate change and innovation projects for the last 5 years. He's been working on a variety of projects, which he can talk about further on. He's also part of the pop movement, who have been very generous to allow us to use their pop account for Zoom. Abia and Rabab, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, sure. My name is Abia. I am one of the co-leads of the CFR project, and I'm really excited to be here.
My name is Zubhav. I'm part of the social media outreach team at CFR, and I'm also very happy to be here today.
Rubhav's only my friend because I give him notes at school. But moving on from that, so today we'll be discussing very interesting topics as well. My favorite being, are humans going to meet the same fate as the dinosaurs? I mean, that sounds kind of cool if we had an asteroid as an excuse. But anyways, moving on from that, we have Bhavya sneaking up behind the table trying to fix the camera. Anyways, so I just realized that we don't have the tall talks on my laptop. So Bhavya is going to need to share them from his laptop. So our first tall talk is about cloning, basically looking at how they brought back the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park and whether it was ethical and whether we should be pursuing such a technology in the future. I know that Ivan has worked on research on this topic, so I'm sure he's going to have a lot of thoughts about the same thing. So we are currently waiting for Bhavya to share his screen. After which, yes, I will make Bhavya co-host. For those of you CFR members in the team who are laughing at us, don't. We're trying our best. Okay. Bhavya, you should be able to share now. Nice. We have dinosaurs on our table. Okay, never mind. The tall talk is here. No need to stall anymore.
66 million years ago, over 80% of all species on planet Earth died. The cause? A 10-kilometer wide asteroid hurtling towards Earth at 72,500 kilometers per hour. 66 million years ago, over 80% of all species on planet Earth died. The cause? A 10-kilometer wide asteroid hurtling towards at 72,500. Although death on Mars extinction was caused by an asteroid and not by changes to a carbon cycle. There is another such event in the making. A Mars extinction is defined as a time period of less than 2.8 million years, where 75% of the world's population is lost. Today, over 1 million plant species and animal species are being threatened by climate change. This unprecedented biodiversity crisis is being termed as the Holocene extinction, which is the 6th mass extinction. And scientists say that we could reach levels to be defined as an extinction in less than 240 years from today. However, today we'll be discussing whether we humans are going to be part of the 75% lost. Will climate change lead humans to the same fate as the dinosaurs, or will we find a way to defeat the odds and survive? Between 80 to 90% of all natural disasters in the past decade have been a result of floods, droughts, cyclones, heat waves, or storms. Growing global temperatures have meant that wetter regions have a higher propensity to flood, while drier regions have a higher tendency for long droughts. Over 50% of today's agriculture is damaged by floods, and over 85% of today's livestock is damaged by droughts. Today, we have all the resources to come up with an efficient food production system, but it is important that we harness it so that food insecurity due to climate change isn't the reason that our species dies out. Another need that is being threatened by climate change is the need for safe and secure housing. With growing number of natural disasters every year, the amount of houses being damaged and destroyed is also increasing. It is predicted that over 42 million people are going to lose their houses every year due to climate change for the next 20 years. This is especially concerning for impoverished and working class families as they cannot afford to rebuild or repair their houses, or worse, relocate. It is also often that these are the people who have to live in difficult and disaster-prone locations. However, there are technologies that are arising and will continue to arise to fight this issue. Recently, scientists have developed a house that has a fire rating of 4 hours. This means that the house can sustain even if there's a fire burning right next to it for 4 hours at 760 degrees Celsius. What's surprising is that it's not very much more expensive than normal houses, even though the walls are 20 centimeters thick. There have also been developments in making houses that float on purpose during floods. Do you think that we will be able to fight the problems on our planet using technology? Will everybody have access to the solutions that we're coming up with? Will we be able to save our place
Okay,
and
so
not succumb to the fate?
that was a very interesting talk. What do you guys think? Let's start with our guests on set. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you think that we will make it out or no?
I think humans will survive. I don't think we'll suffer the same fate as dinosaurs. I have a lot of faith in our species to kind of pull through.
I believe, well, it's hard to tell at the current time, but I think if we change a few practices of ours and switch to more sustainable methods, we might be able to survive a few more millennia on this planet. And yeah, that's my view.
Okay, but do you guys think that if we survive, will it be a small section of our population, like in WALL-E, or do you think that a large population will survive?
Honestly, I think that the human species as it currently is, I think that we have the potential for survival. Whether that potential is realized or not is another matter entirely. But I do believe that we can survive at our current population, if not a higher population.
Okay, that's interesting. Saving 7.9 billion people from climate change is going to be a mammoth of a task. Ivan, what are your thoughts on this?
So, well, as any other, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so as any other species, of course, we are doomed to extinction. However, how long that happens and what point of history, that will depend also on how we behave and the decisions that we take as a civilization, right? In the current scenario, I will say it's more probably that not like many of the population will prevail. So I don't think we will go extinct soon, let's say, but the amount of people that will be able to survive, I think that's going to be reduced, specifically because of the reasons that in the talk were said. And also, yeah, at some points I don't agree that much about cloning and its future for agriculture and to keeping our practices. So I think it's more like producing and consuming responsibly and not like trying to find like the solutions in technology is also somehow difficult, and that is actually some kind of trap that the media and some even let's say some people tends to talk about that because that's going to exempt them from responsibility, right? They're saying, oh, we are going to be fine. You just keep polluting, keep consuming, keep doing the same. Technology will save us one day. But that's not necessarily true. So we need also to be and to take actions with the things that we are doing now. And there are many things, but I'm not going to take all the floor. So I'm going to leave my answer by now, like that.
I think you raise a very important point that every species is going to eventually get extinct just because of the way nature works. I think that that's very important because humans have stretched that in many spheres, whether it's using simple things like our healthcare systems, that it's basically a method for us to be able to adapt to our nature and find a way for us to survive in harsher conditions than usual. But like you said, that we need to understand where we're taking resources and where we're putting a stop to it and how we're using the resources, because you can't infinitely stretch the boundaries of Earth. There are limited resources after a point, and you can't keep stretching your carrying capacity essentially after a point. So I think that that's a very interesting point. Daniela, what do you think?
Oof. Okay, so I think that we will survive. I think we're a resilient species, definitely. However, I do think the number will be limited. The population control will not only be provided by nature and the different risks that we are facing, like climate change and so many other, there's going to be social conflict, there's going to be policies imposed in different governments, because when governments see that their society is not doesn't have a quality of life, and I think if we don't take action soon to tackle the climate crisis, the different risks and the different challenges that we're going to face will definitely affect the quality of life, as you were saying in the introduction. And it won't be sustainable to just keep reproducing at the rate that we're reproducing. I think populations control will become something that we will install, right? And so if we think that, well, I think that's kind of like the trajectory on which we're going. And climate change will start affecting a lot of the population, mostly low income families, and it will start scaling to different levels. But so I think it's very unfair because we will survive, but it will not be the vast majority of us. It will be like a very select group. And I think what Ivan was saying is something that is really interesting because it opens a whole other debate about nature-based solutions and about technology, like technological solutions, right? I don't think that they necessarily contradict each other. I think we definitely are at at a point in time where not only will technology help us innovate so many things, and we definitely need it, but we have to create it kind of from the knowledge of nature-based solutions with like the how do you say it? I forgot how to say it, but with the inspiration of nature-based solutions. But it's definitely an ally to help tackle all of this, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that.
Okay, I think that was an interesting point. Where I just came to my mind is that let's say that we were to survive in either small size or our current population size. Do you think that our living means, our current lifestyle, luxurious lifestyle, will remain, or will we be forced to change the ways in which we live and become more minimalistic in order to survive? Do you think that that will be a requirement for us, or do you
Yeah.
think that technology will make sure that we can live just the way we are right now and still continue to live for a long duration?
I think there's something actually pretty interesting about it. I was reading this yesterday, that we kind of moved away from materialism, and that's kind of a bad thing, because before, when things used to be, very carefully made, handcrafted, we'd take care of our things. We'd kind of be very sort of possessive about our things and kind of keep them properly and not, like discard them very easily. And now with the kind of culture of consumerism, we're forced to kind of be a bit more minimalist, in that we don't value our things in the same way that we used to before. And so it's kind of created a culture where we just, buy things and then we throw them away. And, we are being minimal, right? We're not having as many things in our homes anymore. But I think that's not such a great thing, because we keep buying new things and, throwing.
I think that's, yeah.
So becoming minimalist, like for example, every day we leave the water heater on for 30 minutes. We don't even realize that we're doing that.
I leave it on for 8 hours.
8 hours. So Bobby does that, and we do things without even realizing the impact it has on our environment or the ecosystems around us. I certainly do believe that we'll have to scale back on a few things. Like everyone must stop using cars for short distances, even the little things. Maybe use a bicycle or something. But yeah, we need to scale down on a few things in order to survive in the future. That's just my.
Yeah, definitely. I think I agree. And we've all been to school, we've all had these dystopian novels
Yeah.
where we have to buy oxygen after a point. And honestly, it felt scary that time, but I mean, it's not far from what could happen. I think that it is definitely a possibility that resources are capped at that level. And I think that again, it comes back to the same point that Daniela made, that the people who are going to survive, or who are going to survive with ease, are the people who are rich, are the people who possibly are a major problem for climate change. And the community that will struggle is the community that is probably not having
As much of an
as much of an
impact, yeah.
impact on climate change, which is kind of sad, because like I was talking to somebody else the other day, and I just realized that we're fighting against climate change, but people who are causing climate change are probably not going to be affected by it, which is a sad truth. And I think that yeah, I think that hurts sometimes. So,
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think they will be affected by it in like a crucial way as other people will be. They will for sure suffer some of the consequences, I think. And it goes as little as, okay, maybe they won't be able to have their coffee in the morning, right? But it's not something that will hinder their lifestyle as much as what it could do to other people. And in the end, okay, so we know that that's going to happen, but we also know that incredible technological innovations are happening at the same time, right? And so we're kind of moving in parallel with grassroots efforts and with organic changes in the way we consume and in the way we have a more sustainable lifestyles and whatnot. But then there are other people that are trying to have like this moonshot projects, to say something like they're just trying to aim for the moon and solve a really big and complex problem such as the climate crisis. And I think it's really incredible to learn more about all of these different projects. I definitely think there's an ethical situation to them completely. And this goes a little bit to the other talking point, but I'll get my ideas in order and say it then.
yeah, I think that there are definitely two different races. One is about trying to get more sustainable, both at the grassroots level and a large level. But then there's this other race where I recently read that ice caps are melting, and there are a lot of people who are waiting for this to happen. They're eyeing it because there are gas reserves underneath the ice. So they're just waiting in just waiting for it to melt, that they can go in and extract methane, extract these other gases which can be used to fuel their petroleum businesses. And I think that yes, it is justified to blame them, but I think that it is also, like you said, important to do innovations at a grassroots level, make choices, and push
Completely.
for both changes in your lifestyle as well as pressurize large scale organizations to take action, because they're the ones who, like we've already discussed, they have the resources to implement ideas at a large scale, just like they're working towards solutions that are in their benefit. They are also capable of
Yep.
doing it in other people's benefits, and which is where we need to make sure that we're pressurizing them, we're asking the right questions to make sure that maybe if not all, some change.
Yeah,
Totally.
everything goes hand in hand, right? I mean, you need all the grassroots level work. You also need the big kind of, like Daniela was saying, the moonshoot innovations. We need those as well, right?
Exactly.
We kind of need everything to be working towards kind of limiting the threat of climate change to not only us as a species, but Earth as a whole.
It's like if we were there, if there was supposed to be an asteroid that hit us to like eliminate us like the dinosaurs, currently everybody would be working at finding ways to deflect the asteroid or break it down to smaller pieces or do something so that it doesn't touch us, right? So I think that is something that we need. We need moonshot ideas to do something about it.
Yeah, but I think that the kind of difference between the asteroid and climate change as a threat to the human species is that is very singular, right? I mean, the threat of an asteroid is very it's just the asteroid, right? That's the only threat.
Yeah.
Whereas climate change is such a many-layered, such a complicated issue that you can't actually solve one part of it without kind of hindering another part. So I think that if humans were to survive as a species, if we need to kind of not suffer the same fate as dinosaurs do, then we need to be kind of working hard towards sort of solving all aspects of climate change rather than any one particular part.
If I may add,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, something about this. Well, some things. First is that fortunately there are already happening some of these kind of changes in lifestyle, and for the good, I will say, we can talk about economy. So, what's the use of having a drill in your home that you're going to be using maybe once every 2 or 3 years? Otherwise, it's just a piece of of working like this kind of machine, which is really complicated to do. It is a complex machine that also costs you not 2 cents, and you just have it in your yard, right? And instead of having everyone having to buy one drill by themselves, maybe you can either rent one, or some people buy one and then you can share it and all of that. So this is also these ways of consuming that are more also even makes sense economically, not only mentally, right? So this could decrease the impact in the environment by only producing what is actually needed by society, and not so that everyone can have everything even when they won't be using it. Also, we can be talking about cars or cell phones, which are can be made modular, so you will be needing less materials. Recycling is going to be way more efficient. And also, well, these are some things that can happen and that are happening and that will change the way that we consume and produce, which are that won't hinder our life quality, as that is also important. Besides that, it's also we should also consider that there are places, well, countries like the US, where they consume. I mean, if all the planet consume the rate that they do, we will need something like 4.5 planet Earths to have like their needs needed. So it's also a matter of being conscious about how much we consume. And besides that, I also wanted to mention that the asteroid that hit the Earth and killed the dinosaurs actually fell in the shores of Mexico in Chicxulub in Yucatan. So, well, we are both from there, and this is something that also leave us thinking how humanity could react to that. For sure, many will die at the beginning, but we have like the technological and also the technological resources and also some kind of experience and even shelters already because of the war, so that for sure we could survive. And also that asteroid didn't kill the dinosaurs immediately and all of that species. It was a matter of thousands of years when the atmosphere was covered by this cloud and all that. So we will have some time to readjust. But yeah, this is a really interesting topic.
Yeah. Yes, I love the way we're going, but I've been reminded by backend to get back on topic. So I'm going to open the floor to the audience. I'm also going to launch a poll. This is the first time I'm going to launch a poll on Zoom. The question is, do you think humans will meet the same fate as the dinosaurs? So the poll is in progress. You guys feel free to answer the poll. We've got 100%. A fun fact about this. So we'd gone to a class in our school and we tried to like explain to them that we're going to be discussing a topic like this. And in a class of 60, we asked them how many of you are going to think, how many of you think we're going to die like the dinosaurs? And all the fourth graders except one said yes. So slightly concerning fourth grade population. But moving on, so I'm going to open the floor up to the audience. The audience can unmute themselves. If anybody has any points, do go ahead. And if nobody speaks, then we need our CFR members to speak and pretend like there is audience. So if anybody has any big perspectives, do let us know. Bhavya, you're there. Do you have any perspectives?
I think that humans will survive. Just because there are so many of us. There are like 8 billion of us. I refuse to believe that like the richest of us won't survive. You know, as Daniela said, I think there's going to be a very large disparity in who survives. It's not going to be it's not going to be the poorest. It's definitely going to be the richest. I think that humanity's always like found a way out. You know, technological development is. Yeah, it will probably get really, 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 really bad before people actually start taking this seriously and start to bring in change at an international level. But once it happens, you know, I think we kind of survived COVID because there was such an emergency and it was like right in front of us. And climate change poses a similar threat. It just isn't visually as stark right now for us. So once that kind of sets in, I think that people will finally start to do something about it.
Yeah, I think I agree. So I don't think there are any points from the audience. I don't see any raised hands. We have 6 responses on the poll so far. 4 people think yes, and 2 people think no, which is a really interesting debate. I know Bhavya is one of the no's. I saw him click the no in. So right. So if there are no more points, do any of the guests online, Daniela, Ivan, do you have any closing comments before we move on to the next part of the episode?
Yeah, I think it all depends on how you view humanity as a whole. So if a large part of us kind of meets the same fate as dinosaurs, then I think, do we fail as a species or do we not? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a very interesting question of, if we do survive, considering, I don't know how many are remaining, is it a viable kind of reproduction species, or at least a viable population for it to continue with the species and everything? So I think both answers are kind of correct. There isn't a correct answer. We don't know what will happen. And the second, we definitely have something in our power and in our control to change the trajectory on which we're going, right? So so it's not the same fate as dinosaurs from the beginning of the problem, I think, completely. So I think that's very hopeful as well, because it's not only just seeing what will happen and what consequences and kind of what awaits us, but it is a wake-up call for sure, completely. And it's something that we need to do collectively. It's not something that a few of us, and it's not something that if a few people survive, then we've succeeded as a species, right? We haven't succeeded as a species, not even right now. We're a plague. We have completely changed the narrative to be all about us, and we're not in sync with our surroundings. So I don't know what will constitute as surviving and as succeeding in the future, right? I think that's something cool to just keep in mind.
Definitely. I think for me and Rubaf, succeeding means not failing IB. I think that's our main goal, not failing our exams. Bhavya won't fail. He's just lying in bed, probably going to top the class. But anyways, do you guys have any closing comments for the debate?
If I may add to this. Oh, please go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just think that even if we do survive as a species, like, what does that mean for the planet? You know, would it be better that we didn't survive?
I think that if we didn't survive, Earth would bounce back quite well.
Yeah,
Honestly,
but
if we stayed, it would probably like a menace. But not advocating anything here. I promise. I have no intention of killing the planet.
Only that, like, we're having this debate right now about whether we will survive, and I think that's kind of I mean, is us surviving the positive outcome?
Abhya raises a very interesting question.
Very good question.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. Bhavya will kill me if we don't move on to the next part. Sorry, Rubhav, we will come back to your point later on. So we're going to move on to our game now. Our game is an auction. We will be auctioning 4 items across the next 20 minutes. And your goal as audience members is to try and guess what you think would be the appropriate price for these items. And after all your responses come in, they will be averaged out. And the closer you are to the average price, the more points you get. So your goal or your aim is to try and guess what most people think is the average price, which is a very convoluted sentence now that I think of. But we will now move on to our question, our items. The first item is Stan the T-Rex, who was originally auctioned off for, I believe, let me just check, for 31 million dollars. $31 million. So that was, so the items on our screen. There were $31 million for this. And here, can we get the game sent out to all our participants online? Once that's out, you guys can start playing on our Discord server. I will put in the Discord server link on the chat as well for those of you who want to join and play there. Meanwhile, what do you guys think about this amazing model? I know that you think it's scary.
I think it's scary. It's so creepy. Why would you pay $31 million for that? I'm sorry. It's just, why would you want that in your house?
I mean, it's cool. Like, I would honestly want to go and see this.
If I owned a big mansion and I was giving off billionaire vibes, I would have that in my living room.
Yeah,
Honestly.
exactly.
That it just looks amazing.
I'm sorry. It's just a bad interior design choice, in my opinion.
Okay, so. Okay, I seem to have put the wrong link in the chat. That's the Zoom link.
Buy it for the science. You like buy it to keep it in a museum.
Yeah.
I mean, if I paid $31 million for that, I'd like to show it off to my friends. I'd keep it in my house, not some stuffy museum.
That is fair.
Wait, is it actual, like, dinosaur remains?
Yeah.
the biggest T-Rex.
Why would
No,
someone make it?
I'm sorry. They like made plastic bones of
Exactly.
the T-Rex, and that's they auctioned plastic off for $31 million.
That is a very good business opportunity.
Plastic is not good for the planet.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
that's for $31 million, then
But Rubha, we wanted to show it off to your friends. Are you sure you have friends to show off to?
that's just the last reality check I needed today. Please
Okay.
let's just move on.
Okay, right. So Rubha doesn't have friends, but we don't talk about that. Daniela, Ivan, what do you think of this T-Rex?
I think it's awesome. I love dinosaurs. I think going to a museum and seeing one of those completely kind of sparks your curiosity, and like your inner child is like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Definitely.
So I think, I mean, I wouldn't pay $31 million, but if I were running like a state-of-the-art museum or something like that, I definitely buy it.
Yeah. Okay, so we started getting bids in, and I think people are playing.
I
What?
think Josefa also wanted, he raised his hand, or her hand, but I don't know if you want to talk or say something, Josefa.
Yeah, I just had a question to them. I wanted to ask what time was the T-Rex auctioned at? What year or what the date?
The actual auction date?
Yeah.
I am not sure. Let me see if I have that written down somewhere. I don't think we have that written down. That is interesting. I'm not sure when it was first auctioned off. Also, it's just been brought to my notice that a lot of you guys aren't registered on the Discord server. That is fine. You guys can register afterwards as well. Just put in your bids on the chat, on the Zoom chat, and we will record it. Dhye says that he knows the date of when it was auctioned, to answer your question. So Dhye, you can unmute and tell us the date. If you're
It was
here.
on 2020, October 6th.
6th October 2020. Wow. That's quite recent.
Yeah, that's pretty recent.
That's quite recent.
Yeah, I'm still like blown away that someone would pay $31 million for this.
You know what I would do with $31 million? I would buy.
How much do you expect?
I would definitely pay like less than half that.
I would buy a bed worth $31 million just so I can sleep in it.
A bed.
A bed.
No, see, this
You
is
know-
not about your bed. Okay, this is about this thing. And I'm sorry, it's just creepy. I would not pay.
I think
$31
Ivan
million.
has something to
Yeah,
say.
Ivan,
He was
Ivan.
gonna buy something with it.
So fossils are really priceless. I mean, what are the chances of getting those kind of bone structures preserved online? For me, they are invaluable, and I will, if I had the money, I will pay more than that price, double, triple, whatever. Yeah, for sake of humanity, it will be better if it was in a museum, not in my house, but
Yeah.
I will actually really like to have some of those things close. I really like fossils. I have actually even discovered, well, not discovered, but find some fossils of mammoths and all of that. So I'm really, really fond of fossils, and for me, they are even priced more valuable than that.
Okay, I think, yeah, that's interesting. So we start getting our bids in. I think we can move on to the next item. Okay, if you can start sending out the next item to our audience. Meanwhile, let's go to the next item on the screen. This is John the Tricep. I'm not sure.
Triceratops.
Triceratops. I'm not. I didn't think I'd have to practice pronunciation before the game show episode. So our just okay, yeah. So I didn't think we would have to practice pronunciation. I thought our English oral exams were
I
done.
think you have struggled pronouncing Triceratops.
Okay, yeah. Anyways, moving on. Listen, it's enough for insulting me offset. You don't need to insult me on set. But
Triceratops.
Triceratops.
Yeah,
Okay.
see, you got it.
Okay.
You know why Triceratops?
No.
No, can we not
Yeah,
discuss
yeah.
that? Let's just.
Oh, that's 3 horns. Okay, so we're starting the bid here at $1 million. I can read. I'm pretty sure I can read. That's $1 million.
Yes.
So we're starting at $1 million, and it was auctioned off in real for $7.7 million. I thought it would be more than that,
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, the
Yeah.
T-Rex went for 31. T-Rex is way more iconic. We have a T-Rex.
We have a T-Rex. Which one's the T?
This one.
Is this a T-Rex?
Yeah, I think that's a
Are you
T-Rex.
serious?
I don't know what it. See, I used to like T-Rexes and like follow them, but then
So
this one
I personally.
that's a Spinosaurus.
is this a
That's
T?
an Ankylosaurus, I think. That's a
Yeah,
T-Rex.
look at-
Then
Oh, they
there's
can't-
This is a T-Rex,
Yeah,
right? I was right.
Oh, you guys can't see the set.
No, no, you guys are just saying that this is a T-Rex.
Okay, right. So this is something Saurus.
This is Spinosaurus.
Spinosaurus. Okay.
This one's the T-Rex.
I don't think they can see it.
I think we can see a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
I think,
I think
I
we
think the
can
first
make
one
it up.
was Stegosaurus.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I still can't identify the T-Rex.
I've never seen a green T-Rex. Where did you get?
Which one's the T-Rex?
This one.
This
This
one.
one.
This one. I think it's the T-Rex.
The red one, the spiny red one, that's a Stegosaurus.
A Stegosaurus. I used to like Stegosaurus. Like, this is like, this reminds me of those play fields when you had like those obstacle courses. There used to be one like this, like a slide. Like,
No, it's
You're gonna have to show it to them.
No,
I don't think
like-
you can see it.
I would love sliding off the backs of like a dinosaur.
That's a Diplodocus, the yellow one.
Like those long
That
necks.
would be the worst slide ever. Like
Yeah, I agree with
ever.
you.
Why?
Yeah.
Right?
Because
You
it's
could
rough,
sit on their head
because
and
they
then
have
launch off.
scales.
Those like water parks. You could like launch off into a water park.
Okay, it
they have scales,
is predator.
like a lot of them.
I mean, you could go off the herbivore or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the herbivores.
It can step on you and kill you.
But we're sitting on its head. I don't think that legs work like that.
Animal cruelty.
Oh yeah, Peter's going to be breathing down our necks now.
Like okay, so you should like sit on and like you should hire dinosaurs to be like slides in water parks.
No.
No,
Okay,
I don't.
would
think-
never send my kid there. I would never. I just like why
I
would
mean, if you hate your kid, why not? Then just go ahead.
I don't know what's happening.
Okay,
Way off
wait,
track
hang
now.
on. We were
Okay.
discussing the price.
Yeah, we discussed the price, right?
Yeah. What do you guys think, Daniela and Hassan? Do you think you'd pay 7 million for this?
For this one, yeah,
Uh-huh.
I would.
I think this one is cuter than the.
Yeah, I think seven
yeah, I
is
think
like
this one
very
is
cheap
way
for it.
cooler.
Yeah, I think it's way cooler than like the T-Rex. It's less creepy, at least.
I mean, to start off with, it's like it seems less dead. I think it has more bones on it.
No, it's just
I
that its
think-
head is quite like.
Shouldn't this be worth more? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like there's more bone mass or whatever, more bones on it. I mean, how did it sell for less than the T-Rex?
It's an auction, guys. Auctions are weird.
Do you think that bone marrow of dinosaurs was pretty tasty?
Why would you? Why
It's
would you?
dead for like billions of years. I would not eat it.
Millions of it.
Millions of years.
That-
fine.
That
Okay,
is
right.
something
So-
that I wouldn't do either, like at all.
So also, as far as I can remember, Triceratops are like more ancient than T-Rex, so the chances of them preserving is also even smaller. That will increase its amount. I will still pay more for the T-Rex because I like it more, but that also should increase Triceratops price, I think.
Yes, but the age and stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Also, the T-Rex fossil was like the biggest T-Rex found.
That is fair. That's
Oh,
fair.
that's why 31.
Oh, so
Ivan
this
with
it
the
was biggest
technical
T-Rex.
data.
Makes sense.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next item. Yeah, you can send that out. I'm assuming you're sending it out. I hope you're sending it out. The next is a dinosaur nest. I'm not sure if like the size proportion is right, but it kind of seems small for a dinosaur.
It's an egg.
Yeah, but dinosaur eggs are huge. No, I know, but we're just saying that if there was an egg on top of the nest, this seems kind of small.
It would have to be bigger than an ostrich.
No, those
right?
are the eggs. Those are the eggs.
Those are the eggs. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe the pictures is out of like proportion.
Yeah, has to be.
Has to be. Because like ostrich eggs are quite big. I'm pretty sure a dinosaur egg is more than that.
Would have to be, right? I mean,
I'm guessing.
Yeah, ostrich eggs are like
I think it depends on the dinosaur for sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
but I mean, I
Yeah.
think this one's pretty. I don't know. I wouldn't pay that much.
Yes,
Yeah.
let's remember that the
So,
Velociraptor was the size of a turkey. So
Mm.
Really? I thought it was like bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
No.
expected it to be way bigger somehow.
It's
No.
Jurassic.
because of Jurassic Park, I guess.
They like
Yeah,
us.
no, they blow things out of proportion. But I think their closest relatives are chickens, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I was
to
gonna say
date,
that
some of them.
dinosaurs are like related to chickens.
Oh.
That's why, when so actually this is a really cool thing. You know how like in Jurassic Park, how the dinosaurs move, like the way their heads kind of move. They took inspiration of that from chickens. You know how chickens like kind of move their head in front. That's like how they took the inspiration for the CGI of Jurassic Park.
That's actually so interesting. How did they like decide how Jurassic Park just like decided how the whole of the human race would think
Perceive
dinosaurs
dinosaurs.
walk?
Yeah.
And that's like how like imagine the person's job who's just like Jurassic Park is like we'll pay you to basically decide how dinosaurs exist in our
I
world.
mean, I don't think they knew at the time, but if you like kind of look back to the old kind of Jurassic Park movies, it's just so insane how good the CGI is. Like,
Yeah.
like it doesn't feel like it's 30 years old now.
Jurassic Park's 30 years old.
Yeah, the original movies are like
1990 or something,
Yeah.
right? If I'm not wrong.
Oh, wow. For a second, I forgot we were like in 2020. I thought we were in like 2015 or something.
yeah.
But
But how much was like the actual? How much?
oh, right, the actual price. So before we move on to the next item, the
Seven.
actual price. Let's see.
$7 million.
No, that was the one before this. This one was 420,000. Probably the cheapest thing.
420,000.
See, if we're going with the perspective that Ivan said, like the fact that it's surviving is like an influencer of the price, this should be worth way more.
Yeah.
Because the fact that like eggs, which are not that strong, I mean, compared to actual bones, the fact that like survive in that condition is pretty impressive.
That is,
That's fair.
That's fair. I
that's
guess.
amazing.
It's
Um,
just that it doesn't look as
Yeah, it's not as visually impressive. I mean, yeah, I don't think you'd know that this was a dinosaur nest unless someone told you.
Yeah, for me-
It looks like a plate to me, honestly.
Or like an elephant print on the ground.
Yeah.
or something.
It's not quite like you look at it and you're like, oh my god, this has historical value.
That's fair. Okay. I think my favorite auction item after Stan the T-Rex, because Stan's name is cool, is the amber cane from Jurassic Park. And this is, if I'm correct, this is inside which they found the fossilized mosquito using whose blood they made dinosaurs, which is DNA, which is so cool because like I never thought that Jurassic Park actually thought out how they got dinosaurs. I thought they just like decided one day that dinosaurs exist.
I mean,
Jurassic Park?
I have, but
listen, just because that's the amount of thought you would put into something doesn't mean that's the amount of thought people objectively put into it. Okay, like
yeah. So I think this is really an important thing. It's funny that the starting price for this was 150. So $150, just $150. So Daniela, Ivan, how much would you pay for this with a mosquito inside? No, it's just one.
I think that
Daniel,
Sorry.
you're muted.
Yeah, muted.
Yeah, I can see. I think I would pay over $500. I don't know. I think I would suck at auctions if I'm honest. I think I would go overpriced. but yeah, over 5. You, Ivan?
Well, I will definitely not pay as much as for any of the past items. I do love dinosaurs more than mosquitoes. I don't know. And just before I forget, just to mention, it will be impossible to have like DNA from that mosquito because when fossil happens, their like structure is changed, so they are not more right. But well, besides that, I think I will pay, I don't know, 1 million, 2 millions. I will pay for that.
Oh wow, that's a lot of money. This is
And
a
I
I
appreciate
thought I
fossils a
was
lot.
high. I thought I was high.
I think
Yeah.
Jurassic Park memorabilia. I think.
Yeah, but see, the funny thing is that the actual bid was for 32,000 only.
Fun fact, the actor who held that claim in Jurassic Park films, Sir Robert Attenborough, I think, or Sir Richard Attenborough.
Yeah, Richard, I think.
Yeah, his brother is Sir David Attenborough.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's cool actually. But this is cool in that it's like amber. Because Ivan mentioned like when something's fossilized then it kind of loses like what it is, you know. But in amber it's like the real deal.
Yeah, I think that if I bought this, I would simply use it to torment all the mosquitoes that bite me at night. And be like, if you guys don't stop,
Brandish it around.
yeah, like if you don't stop, I will also put you guys in amber, Like,
Oh, display a message.
yeah,
sign
exactly.
for
Set an example to them.
That sounds like a very scary.
Ruiz is gonna need the mafia. I'm telling you guys.
They will fear you. They will fear you tremendously.
Exactly. They better fear me. Okay, so let's move on to the second tall talk. The second tall talk is about cloning. I think that Ivan's probably been waiting for this all episode. It's about cloning that Jurassic Park used, and do you think cloning is ethical or not? So Bhavya, can we have that on the screen? I think he forgot to like open it. He logged out of the meeting altogether. Our team is very dysfunctional. I don't know how we make it through. I'm not sure how we like make it through.
You're doing it great, actually. Your shows are so interesting and fun. So I enjoy them so much.
Okay, so we have the talk on the screen now.
Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
In Jurassic Park, Ian Malcolm is pretty spot on with this comparison. Given a technology, humans are bound to play around with it, irrespective of the consequences. But we have seen real life examples of this too. Recently, groups of scientists have proposed
Okay, so looks like we had an internet failure. Nobody can see the talk at all.
I hear it.
So Bhavya, can you reshare your screen? You reshare your screen. I think our internet is failing. Can you just give us a few minutes? Meanwhile, let's stall.
We're going to move on with such.
We don't have the.
Okay, well, why don't you just explain the topic?
Right. So the tall talk is about basically. So we all know. Do we all know how they did the process in Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
We have brief idea.
So yesterday I was reading about this, that in Jurassic Park, they thought that by creating all dinosaurs female, they wouldn't actually reproduce and it would stay in control. But what they did was that to make sure that the DNA, the parts of the DNA that weren't there, they put frog DNA into it, but they didn't realize that frogs have the capability to like change their gender. And in a environment where there is only one gender. So that backfired on them, and then their dinosaurs started changing their gender, and then they started reproducing, which is why the park got out of hand eventually. Do we have the talk on the screen? No, it's not loading.
Just move on.
It's not loading at all. Okay.
So I think
Yeah, we
we can continue with the discussion.
Right. So the basic discussion of the tall talk was that we use cloning to get back dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. But should we be using technology like this for other species like the dodo or other more recent species? Should we be using this technology to bring them back And the few points that we covered were that if we were to bring them back, who would these animals belong to? Would they belong to the farmer or the person that got the DNA from someplace? Would it be the person who actually funded the research? Who would own the animal, or would anybody own the animal at all?
But like ownership also means responsibility. right?
Exactly.
So if something goes wrong with that animal,
Exactly.
if
So
there's unforeseen consequences, who is responsible for it?
exactly. And so one question is, should we doing it at all? Then comes legal rights, or what area do they bring back? Because the world has changed since these animals got extinct. In what ecosystem do we put them back in? Is it fair to these animals to be pushed back into an ecosystem that they don't know of anymore? Is that something we will look into? But then there is also another side, that we have a lot of animals, especially like a few species of the rhino, which are on the brink of extinction. So should we or should we not be using cloning to bring them back to a number where they can reproduce and get back to a level of natural habitation? But then again, if we were to duplicate them in a facility, what happens after that? Do they remain in the facility forever, or do we release them into the wild after a point? So I think that not only does the question arise that should we be doing cloning for our purpose, but also what impact will it have on another animal? Like for example, if any one of you were like cloned, how would you feel? Like let's say that your clone committed a crime and then the police picked you up. How would you explain that?
I mean, honestly, isn't there like, okay, to begin with, I'm not sure, isn't there like a human clone in Jurassic Park?
I do not remember.
I'm pretty sure there is.
I do not think we can compare cloning animals to cloning humans, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
the
definitely.
The circumstances and living conditions are totally different.
Yeah, no, so I'm just trying to bring out a few different points. So let's start with Ivan. What do you think about cloning technology and whether it should be used in our context or not?
Okay, so first of all, a lot of additional knowledge should be required for this. I am like, well, I think it will be also beneficial to do cloning and to bring back species that have been lost, because these species were part of the environment, part of the habitat, and they should, in my opinion, or well, the most sensible thing will be to put them back in their ecosystem, in their previous ecosystem, because they may have been wiped out from the earth, but there's the place where they evolved to live in. So they are, unless the place have changed too much, there's the place where they can thrive actually. And also they were part of the like of the food net there, like they were part of the ecosystem. So, and they were playing their part in there. So it's not just like that was an empty place that they can't be, that just was filled by any other species. There was their spot, and when they were lost, many of their functions in the ecosystem was lost. So that's one of the points. I will put them back in the place that they were. So who will they belong to? Animals or species can't be patented. So no people can own species. They can patent like genes or technologies or something like that, but not species. So they will not belong to anyone. But I think that the researchers or the team that will create it should be also responsible for any kind of consequences. So, and I'm going back to this, that should be done with a lot of knowledge behind.
Yeah, I think that's fair that the researchers, because they know the species the most, because they're the ones who come up with the technology, they should have responsibility. And I think that's very important, because like we saw in Jurassic Park, if you were to get the dinosaurs back today, we don't know how they would react. And if they were to become a threat to the human race, are we authorized to then kill them completely after spending so much time in bringing them back ourselves? you know. So Daniela, what do you think?
This is a very interesting conversation because so there are some things already happening, right? So, and I think it's very interesting. There's this thing called the Pleistocene Park in Siberia, and they are trying to bring back the woolly mammoth because of the role it had in the ecosystem as a natural bioengineer. So they want to like bring back more grasslands instead of forest. One, because of the albedo effect, and then two, because it will help trample snow, and it will help preserve kind of the permafrost that like is keeping all of these gases that we've talked about some kind of sequestered. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'm not, it's very early. But the point is that what they're doing is that they've taken some characteristics of the woolly mammoth and they are putting it into their most closely related actual mammal, elephant. But the point is that they're taking, I don't know, more thick skin, right? To endure harsher winters and like different characteristics. They're not going to come back as we see. I don't think they're going to come back as we see in Jurassic Park. I don't think that we can just take a species and then completely perfectly create it as they once were. I think what they're doing right now is that they're kind of being a little bit careful on combining the genetic material of what once was and what is today, right? With the purpose of kind of helping their role will help in climate change, and there are many other solutions, and not only towards our own benefit, but towards the planet. I completely agree with Ivan that a species cannot be patented. I do believe that we live in a capitalist world and that people will take kind of pride in saying, oh, we've made it. We've made this. This is kind of a property of, I don't know, whatever company. I think that that's something that will do. And I think there's a lot of ethical boundaries here completely. Something that we need to talk about and something that needs to be regulated. But in general, genetic modification isn't regulated, not even with us, right? Let's not even talk about bringing back another species, but we're also genetically modifying our own genetic code. So for better characteristics, for better things. So we're kind of playing gods. We're kind of, that's the thing.
I think, who says that we can play God is a very key question when it comes to the environment, especially because we do control a lot of things, which if we didn't, the earth would be better off. So what says that based on our past experiences, we should be allowed to play God again? I think that's a very interesting point. So we are again going to open up to the audience because we will soon move on to our final quiz, which we totally didn't make yesterday evening. We totally made it like a month in advance. We were prepared for the event. I assure you. But moving on, so does the audience have any inputs? I'm not sure if they do, but do let us know. Meanwhile, the poll is still going on, and we've reached 78% of the people in the meeting say that humans will meet the same fate as the dinosaurs, which is getting slightly scary now. But I think that, like Daniela said, it's more than a thing about whether we fail or we succeed. It's a wake up call, and I think that the fact that such a large percentage of our population in general thinks that we are at risk is a sign that we need to take action. This unrest needs to be taken to a new level where we actually start taking action, start pressurizing the people in power to do their job. I think that that's very important. So if I'm going to again open up to the audience if anybody has any perspectives. Otherwise, Bhavya, do you have any perspectives? No, Bhavya is in the process of sleeping, so we shall not be disturbing him anymore. Ivan, Daniela, any closing comments before we move on to the quiz?
Yeah, so I think it's really important to consider the diversity that we have right now. And it's not even, well, in my opinion, as far as, so just to give you a little bit of context, I'm a biologist and I did actually plant cell research. I have made transgenics and I have been working on GMOs. Well, I was kind of focusing on biotechnology. And I can tell you that sometimes that's not the answer. Like I was working in a patent for corn, which had the Rubisco activates like more of this protein, which is pretty much going to make higher yields, right, in the production. But the thing is, if you promote these kind of technologies, you're also going to cause dependency on the farmers. You're also going to replace the biodiversity that already exists. And also and specifically about cloning, this is something really difficult because clone plants are, when there's like some kind of, let's say, pest or some weeds or some fungi or something that is affecting the crop, all of them are going to die. So one of the good things about diversity is that they can withstand this kind of problems because they are genetically different. So we should not aim for improving what we have, like in this kind of, we are going to make only this, which has the higher yield and is doing this and that, but we should actually promote diversity. This diversity is what has made life thrive in the planet. So my invitation will be to remember that and keep trying to focusing on protect what we have, so we don't have to bring it back from there.
I think, yeah, very interesting points about the balance between how much we want to modify and how much we want to remain natural. Daniela's also put the name of the park in Serbia for this if you want to, go ahead and check it out.
Serbia?
Serbia. You can go check it out physically if you're going next month.
No, sorry, Siberia, not Serbia, Siberia.
Oh, Siberia. Oops. Bhavya, just change your flight. It's not much. It's not a lot of expense. So I think that Daniela, if you have any closing comments, we can hear them. Before
I couldn't agree with Ivan more. I think diversity is the key of evolution, right? Mutation is a key to evolution, to life. And it's just trying to conserve what we have completely and focus. It's the same question about the space, right? Like space exploration. It's like, no, take care of the planet you're in rather than just thinking about a plan B or a planet B. I don't know what that was, but I think it's something similar. I think it's about conserving the biodiversity that we have, because the loss of biodiversity is equally concerning as the climate crisis. Like, it's not, there are two parallel issues, right, that are really, really strong and that are affecting so many things. And I couldn't agree with Ivan more. And I think, considering how we like to play gods, we will definitely need this type of regulations and ethicals, like institutions or something, to kind of press pause a little bit, or at least slow down the rate at which we're going. Because I mean, it's utopical, and it would be awesome to think that, oh yeah, everybody is going to do the correct thing and just focus on this and whatever. But in reality, the discoveries and the scientific research and all of that is going to keep happening, right? We just need to make our leaders, not only our government and like influential people, understand the critical situation that we're in and how important it is to take action, and effective climate action and effective biodiversity action and everything, but also researchers and kind of just make them understand the value in what we already have. Not everything is an innovation, I think.
Yeah, I think lots of valid points.
Very much.
Rubhav, you have something to
No, no.
say? I think Rubhav is enjoying all the information he's getting.
Yeah.
He didn't think he'll be so useful in his vacations.
Very stimulating conversation.
Yeah, any final words?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that I agree with Daniela in that I think now the time is not to kind of focus on bringing things back. You know, the damage that's been done, it's been done. And I think that the world kind of Earth as a system constantly just keeps adapting, right? So I think that bringing things back might not be as great as we might think it will be. And our goal shouldn't be to kind of, look back and look at what's already been done. I mean, we can't change that now, but instead to kind of make a better future for us and for the species that are left.
Okay, lots of very smart, valid, interesting points. We now have a short quiz on everything that we've discussed. Daniela, Ivan, you guys can also feel free to join in. It's from the Tall Talks. I have put the link in the chat for everyone who wants to go play. And I will be sharing my screen so that we can follow the results. Please don't disappoint us by like an empty leaderboard. We like a tough competition. So yes, do join into the link. Yes, I can see people joining in. So that's really nice. I'm going to share my screen where we can go through the leaderboard. So lots of people. I can see Ivan there. So that's nice. Nice. Bhavya, are you going to play?
Yeah.
Bhavya can play. He didn't make the quiz, so I don't think he knows the answers. Even if he made the quiz, I bet you he probably forgot either way. So I don't think that's a problem either. So quite a few people. Let's wait for a few more people to join before we begin. Yes, I will also send the link on our Discord server for people logging in from there to play. So let me do that real quick. If my laptop decides to work. Laptops are a pain indeed. I think that technology comes with its disadvantages as well. Definitely can be seen right here. So that. Well, that. Rubhav, entertain us. We have a few minutes. Entertain
You're
us.
putting me on the spot now. Well, you guys wanna go over whatever was discussed today?
What?
Give me the code.
I put it on the announcements for everybody to play. Meanwhile, I'm going to start. We have quite a few people, so I'm going to start. This is a short quiz. There are only 10 questions. The last question is if you like the episode or not. Mind you, there's only one correct answer.
Honestly, though, my favorite part of like watching these quizzes is just seeing how the accuracy rate continues to fall. Like it will start off with a good, look here. It started off with 100, now it went down to 50. I think it's currently improving a bit.
What?
No.
Can we Google the answers?
Yeah.
No, you're not allowed to Google the answers, Bhavya.
I'm actually pleasantly surprised. The accuracy is pretty good this time around. Last time it was pretty pathetic.
So I think it's safe to assume people enjoyed today's
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
It's safe to say that I'm a better host than Bhavya is. I'm better at disseminating knowledge, you know.
Yes.
Maybe-
You didn't know the name of the dinosaur.
So I still got it through. And I did tech support and hosting an episode together. That,
Okay,
that
this
deserves
is
applause.
not
yes.
about who is the better host.
You
Okay.
miscapitalized BT Cotton.
Okay, wait, guys.
No, the T is small. Yeah.
Oh.
See, I capitalized both. It was Mihir who said that it's small, and then we cross-checked. It is small.
Okay. Yeah, we're going off topic. I think let's come back to the quiz.
Right. Leaderboard.
I'm-
Yuvraj is doing amazing. I think Yuvraj topped last time as well, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he did pretty well last
So
time.
he did pretty well last time as well.
Honestly, I'm
so-
quite pleasantly surprised with how people are doing this time around. If any of you were in the quiz last week, you're doing a better job this week. Okay, I'm proud
Yes.
of you guys.
I think it's also that we made the questions better this time.
Oh yeah.
I think that last time we were struggling to find questions.
Yes, you can
This
thank
time.
us too.
Yes, so it's always good to take some credit for ourselves, feel good.
I suppose so, yes. Oh
Yes.
my god.
So Ananya and Bhavya are in a very close competition here. They keep going up and down, up and down.
think
It's very
Ivan is
close.
climbing up the
Yes, if Ivan is being the silent tracker, while everybody else fights, Ivan climbs the leaderboard secretly. The Bhavya Ananya fight throws us back to school when both of them are fighting for the first position in class. Yeah, everybody else is too stupid to compete with them.
Oh my
So
god.
those guys are
Okay,
just
so
winning.
Bhavya's got
Bhavya came first place.
yeah, Bhavya's got first place currently.
I'm not sure how we won because we didn't even store the answers on the CFR document. So I'm not sure if he's like cheating or something.
Okay, yeah, he insists that he's not cheating.
Okay.
Okay.
He has like 3 laptops like this. He's putting the good.
Yeah, he has more equipment than we have on set. This is
Okay,
disparity.
wait. So okay, currently Bhavya's got 10 right.
Oh, yes.
Yuvraj and Ananya are
No,
tied.
10 right as in 10 right in a row.
10 right in a row.
I
Right?
guess. Only
There are
Yeah,
10
that's
questions, right?
interesting.
He's got 10 right.
So he's got all right.
I think Ananya and Yuvraj have both gotten like 9 correct.
I guessed 2 or 3 of the questions. I was very lucky because I got the first question wrong.
Oh yeah.
the-
See, it's horrible when you like get 9 questions right and the last question you mess up because it gets your streak down.
Quizzes calculates like your
Exactly.
points.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, we have 70% accuracy. I'm very, very pleased. I'm
Yes,
actually
tomorrow's
quite
special.
happy.
No, we will be making that tomorrow morning.
Okay, wait. So Ivan, Daniela, what did you guys did you do well? How did you
I
do?
mean, a lot of questions. I don't know. I don't do well in tests.
Did you at least learn something, hopefully?
I did for sure, and I beat Ivan.
Yes, I
Which
was
is-
gonna say Daniela beat Ivan. Yeah. So we will have a special prize for that.
Yes.
Because Daniela beat Ivan. Bhavya, he's at the top, but like we won't count him because he's like our member. It's fine.
After all, he did cheat.
Exactly, he did cheat. So
I did not cheat.
we'll disqualify him later on.
Alright,
But-
speaking of being counted, I did not cheat.
So Yuvraj to the top. I think almost everybody's done. We have an unknown person who's not done by the name of
It's
DDFDSDFMG.
just a key smash.
Actually, it's pronounced.
Yeah, see, Bhavya is our professional pronouncer. When Wade struggles, Bhavya pronounces for him. So yes. So I think, yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was my first episode hosting. I was tensed about the back end. It somehow managed to pull through. But I will be returning to tech support tomorrow. While these guys make fun of me,
Please
Which
pray
is-
for us.
which is going to be amazing. So we loved having you at the episode. Thank you, Ivan and Daniela. I know it's very early in Mexico. Thank you for taking our time for this episode. We loved having you. A lot of interesting points, especially with Ivan being his professional profile. I forgot the name. Forgive me.
He's a biologist.
Biologist. Yes, biologist. That's what he is.
It's
We
just like
have-
they just doesn't like biology.
We
Yeah.
got biology in like 8th grade, so.
You drop
it's
biology in
usually-
8th grade.
Yeah.
He took biology till 10th grade and he still hates
Oh,
it.
that's
Yeah,
just
Right.
yeah. I regret taking bio in grade 10. Not a lot of fun experience. But anyways, thank you for everybody who joined. Tomorrow's episode is about Disney, which is really interesting because we will be discussing whether human evolution is natural or not. And I think that is one of the most complicated topics we have come up with so far. Because it debates that we're natural, so does that make all of us natural? Or we've done things beyond natural means, so does that make us unnatural? Which is a very interesting topic. I am thankful that I'm not on set. I don't have to use my brain so much. So very happy about that. But see you tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. IST. And we hope to see you, all of you, and many more people tomorrow. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was
Bye.
lovely.
Nice to
Bye.
meet you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.